The question we have today here is, let's say that you're working for a job board website and then you have a table that represents list of job postings. And then I would like you to write a query that returns the percentage of revoked jobs from the past 180 days, starting from the current date. To make it easier, you have few things that you can consider. The current date can be the recent date in the table. That means the date posted date field. And then when a job ID is associated with two or more job posting IDs, you can use the most recent one. And then just round it off to two decimal points. So hi everyone, I'm Sai Kumar, and then I've done my master's in UConn in the field of data science. And during my master's, I worked as a data scientist at Lego. And right after my master's, I started working as a lead data analyst at Carolina. Today here we have Shashank to solve another mock interview question from one of the interviews. And Shashank, I would like to know about yourself and then your background and then your journey so far.
Hi everyone, this is Shashank. Currently completed my first year at Arizona State University. I'm doing Masters in Computer Science, and prior to that, I worked as a analytics consultant at Data Insights and Quants in Bangalore. And I have a 5-year degree in BTech MTech dual degree in electrical engineering from NIT Rourkela. So yeah, that's all my background.
Got it. So let's start the mock interview then, and then let me know if you have any questions.
Got it.
So when you're typing the query, can you explain your thought process and then what have you understood and then what's your goal and how you are going to proceed?
Okay, sure. So here we need to find the job postings which are revoked. So I'll find revoked based on the false or based on the true. And for each job posting ID, I see that this is the primary key and this is unique for each job posting. And each job ID can have multiple job posting IDs, whether that is revoked or not revoked. And I think the latest job posting ID. So what I'm trying to do is trying to use a group window function where I'm partitioning it by job ID, and I'll be giving a rank for job posting ID, and based on the rank I'll filter out the latest job posting. I'm trying to do that first, and after that I need to find the current date, or the filter which I'll be using is 180 days. I'll use a date difference between the date posted and the maximum date.
Okay, you can continue with your query.
So I've used this condition which was mentioned here, and the current date that is mentioned here, we have to infer it by using the most recent entry date. So the most recent entry date will be the maximum date from the date posted.
Okay.
Using this. So by using rank, I'll give you an example here. So let's say job ID is 3, and when I'm using job posting ID, it's in a descending order. So this job posting ID 4 will get rank 1, this will get rank 2.
You can explain the query once you submit, once you get the
Okay,
correct
sure.
output.
Got
But
it.
while querying, just explain the thought process. That's all.
Got it.
I can give you some boost here. So remove the open parenthesis before the max. It's a syntax error. So I can give you a hint here. Check your first CTE. So there's something that you might notice that you have done wrong.
Okay. So,
Can you walk me through your output? I mean, can you walk me through your code first and then your output, and then can you interpret the output too?
okay, sure. So what I've done is I've created a temporary table using common table expressions. And what I've done is we have filters. So this is the first filter where we have to return percentage from the last 180 days. So I've implemented it here. And since the input is in timestamp, I've tried doing it with the timestamp and we need number of difference in days. I've used it in day, and I have used a window function, a rank function, and have allocated rank for each job posting ID, and for each partition it by job ID. So for each job ID, I'll have multiple ranks for each job posting ID. And the latest job posting ID for each job, the latest job posting will have the highest job posting ID. So I've ordered it in descending order, and I've limited it to only one job posting ID for each job. So this is what I've done in the common table expression. And after that, I've queried the sum of is revoked. So is revoked is true or false. And since it's a Boolean, I'll get true equivalent to 1. And I'll get the number of job postings which are revoked. And this gives me the total number of job postings. And for percentage, like I've multiplied with 100. And yes, I think I have not done this part, the two decimal points. That can be done by using round function. Yes, I've now implemented that as well.
Can you interpret the output?
Yes. So here we have this job ID has multiple job postings. So this has been revoked. And since we have only four cases to consider, out of the four job postings, we have like two of them revoked.
So which one will be revoked here?
Job posting ID like 4 and 2.
Two of them will be removed here?
Yes.
Why would the second one be two of them are revoked? Okay. And then for the duplication, which one would be gone? Like
The
I see,
first, this one is not considered in the percentage.
okay. And that makes sense.
So I'm having out of four postings, I'm having two revoked and two is not revoked.
Okay, got it. Yeah. And my follow-up question for that would be like, if you could extend this query to get better insights, how would you
Mhm.
extend this query or the schema of the table?
You mean my query which I've written, is it?
Yeah, like to make you gotta make some business decision based on this query and then the output.
Okay.
So if you have to improvise the query or to get better insights, is there something that you would like to add to the query or to the table? Maybe you want to
Mhm.
add a new field to track a new metric. So what would be those
Okay.
new fields or changes in your query to make it better?
Okay. Like if the given attributes of the table, I would also try to see if one job user ID or one job posting is frequently getting revoked. So that would give me some information about that particular user, and we can give a metric or like a percentage, like where it is probability of getting revoked is high. If you can add other attributes, I would also like to add location to see if any particular region is influencing the number of jobs getting revoked.
How would location affect, let's say, California has the highest percentage and New York has the lowest? So what does that
Okay.
mean?
So that could mean that there are more people, users who are posting jobs which are getting revoked. So that could also mean that there could be a more number of fake people, fake job postings, or there could also mean like the job postings, people are getting hired internally, or the business or the company which initially wanted to hire have stopped hiring because there are lack of priorities over that project, or priorities of or requirements, or frequent change in management.
Got it. Okay. And what are the different types of window functions, and then how do they work? And why did you use rank here? Why not the other one? And how would it differ if you were using row number or dense rank here?
Row number would not. I wanted to order it based on the job posting ID. I don't think row number would give me that. Row number can usually assigns a row for a given record, a given tuple. And for dense rank, yeah, for dense rank, I would not get ranked in continuity. But yeah, we can also try using the dense rank because I'll be getting a difference between different tuples here.
Okay. And how would your query handle the case, or like what would happen if there are no job postings in the past 180 days? So how would you handle that?
So in case there are no job postings, I think, yeah, I'll be getting zero here because in different here, I'm not mentioning the 180 days in the denominator.
Okay, what would happen if the denominator is zero? And
So
what would you do to
then I could try doing a coalesce. So in case if I'm getting zero here, I can use a coalesce. If I'm getting zero, I can replace it with some default value or one.
Okay. And like, how would you optimize this query? Like, say, right now you only have 5 to 6 rows, but in the industry you might be having lakhs or millions of rows. Like, how would you optimize this query to get the faster output?
The first thing for optimization is I'll see which columns are important for me and which columns are not important. So instead of doing select star, I would only select the columns which I want. And
Anything else that you would like to do for the schema or in the query?
I think I can only think of that at present.
That's fine. And my follow-up question to that would be, so what kind of business decisions can you make by using this output? So how would it help in business growth
Okay. So business growth for the users or for the job platform?
for the job platform, for the job board?
Okay. Yeah, what I can think of is like generally if we can draw in parallels with the job board, we can take an example of LinkedIn and LinkedIn usually have premium members and non-premium members. So what I can do is I can recommend the jobs or the company's user IDs which have less chance of revoke to my premium members first. And I can recommend these jobs which I think are valuable or which I think are better to them.
Those would be the improvements you make, but like how would you interpret the output for, I mean, how can you use that
Okay.
percentage to make growth decisions?
Yeah, I can actually penalize or try to penalize the people or users, which I can set a threshold limit for the like revoke percentage. And if a user crosses that limit, I can penalize them. And I can reward users which maintain less percentage of revoke.
So you're telling that you would calculate the percentage at the user level rather than at the,
Yes.
that makes sense.
And also like I can also find recommend the jobs or the job IDs which has less percentage of revoke. I can also put it in the platform so that users may want to apply for such jobs more.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. How could a high percentage of revoked job postings impact the revenue of the platform?
I don't think it would have a direct impact on the platform because the revoke percentage will be based on user. Yeah, there could be a public conception that this platform will have high revoke, will have like jobs will be getting revoked at a higher rate. But if we can discriminate such user IDs and if we can show in the platform that the revoke is based on user and the platform has nothing to do with it, and we can also make it public that users who have higher revoke percentage will be penalized. I think we can minimize the negative impact, the negative view of users on
Yeah, those are the
the
improvements
platform.
you can make based on the output. But the thing I'd like to know is how can that affect the impact? So let's say a job board like X has percentage of 75. How would that
Okay.
affect the company's revenue?
Okay, you mean the job platforms company or user IDs?
Yeah, job
Job
platform.
platforms company. Yeah, it could actually make a negative impact because, like, generally the users or the people who are searching on job platforms, they would try to compare job postings on different platforms. So if the given job platform has more revoke percentage, then that could impact it negatively.
Okay. And can you think of some other metrics that you can track? Right now you have tracked revoked percentage, but are there any other metrics that you would like to track given that you had more data than these 5 columns? If you had more data, what kind of metrics would you track?
I would want to track about the dates, in which type of dates, which weekday or in which month has the job postings high, and with respect to job ID. Let's say how many data analyst jobs are there in June, or in which date on which day of the week have the highest number of job postings, or which job ID has more revoke percentage. So those are the few things. And also apart from location.
Those would be the drilling down options for revoked percentage.
Okay.
But I would like to know some other metrics other than revoked percentage.
Okay. So if we can, like, user ID can be replaced with the name of the company. Apart from these things, I can also try to, although I don't feel it to be much significant, but I can also try to add the industry of the company or the company size or the like user ID as the company. I can also try to the company size or in general.
Yeah, but like you can add those company names or locations and everything.
Company
And what would
names.
you track?
I can also track, like, so is it with respect to me as a job platform to track, or is it to show as a job searcher on that platform?
Yeah, for the company right now, they're tracking revoke percentage. Another metric that I can tell you will be maybe ratio of job fillings to ratio of job postings or number of active openings
Okay.
right now. So different kind of metrics that you can track.
Okay, got it. Yeah, but I had a question, like, if the company has a posting here and they can also post it in some other platform, and me as a job platform would not know through which job portal the company is hired. So I can do it here, like in this platform, from this platform, how many employees is the company hiring?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Can you summarize everything from like where did you start and then what was your approach and what was the output you got in few lines?
Yes. So initially, I first thought of doing with multiple subqueries. I did not have a thought of doing with rank or window functions. Then, when I visualized that I had to do a multiple common table expressions, then I tried it with this. After this, like, I visualized like what conditions or filters I have to keep. And after that, like, I just try to run my code, whether if I'm making any mistakes in the common table expression first, and I'm doing it step by step so that I don't make mistakes after I finish my code, and it would be difficult for me to identify it. And like, after, as we have seen earlier, like, I've made a mistake by using a date difference, and after I've realized that the date posted is in timestamp, I have replaced it with that. So then all the test cases have passed. And also after that, like, I've tried to analyze the inputs. What if the input has changed? How could I change what part of code I could change? And if the use case is modified, and if the requirements are changed, how could I modify my code?
Yeah, at the end, like what do you think you did well and then what do you think you could have done better?
I think maybe I could try exploring different methods of implementing this, but I have to, like, optimize the version of my code, and I have to justify why it is the optimal. And I don't think I can give you with the concrete proof that this is the best or optimal code. Yeah, that's all I can answer for that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's nice. You did good. Yeah, I'll start with my feedback. And so first thing, yeah, you got the correct output, but then you did had to submit few times and then run the code few times, had few syntax errors at first in the select column in the CTE, and that's first thing. And then in the rank function, you should use order by date posted, but not job posting ID. Here, since the recent date posted is given has the job posting ID greater than the previous one, you got the correct output, but you should
Hmm.
order by the date posted but not the job posting ID because you need to find most recent one that needs to be
Got
found by date posted but not the job posting ID.
got it.
And then you had few syntax mistakes, and then yeah, in the select round you don't have to use second select here. You
Hmm.
don't have to type select count of distinct job ID from job postings. You can just type in count of distinct job ID. Sum of revoked, ratio of sum of revoked and count of distinct job ID would give you the same answer. You don't have to select again because it's not a subquery. You don't have to use that. That's one thing. And then the one thing you can work on the querying is explaining your thought process while you're typing, and then
Hmm.
increase the readability. You took some time to add the brackets like parentheses. So if the readability was good enough, it wouldn't have happened. So maybe like separating it into small chunks, and then if you start coding, that will be easy. And then with the subqueries and CTAs, the readability is very important. So else you would end up getting more syntax errors.
Got it.
And you did select all the fields from the first select query. You don't have to do
Hmm.
that. Just you can just select the required ones. That's one thing
Hmm.
that I would add. And then you forgot to round at first, but later on you found that you didn't apply that. and that's one thing. So just make sure to go through the question and then understand the data and then see what's required, and then maybe try to work on readability, because when the interviewer is checking, he needs to understand what you're typing. You might understand what you're typing because you're the one typing, but then for the person who's looking at the code, if it's easy to read, it'll make a good impression on the person. That's all. And coming to the questions later on, the first question that I asked was about if you could extend this query, what kind of different insights you could get. So you did say a few things like user ID and location. Yeah, one thing you can add is month or year. You can calculate a revoke percentage based on month or year and then see how it's impacting. Maybe in the July, you might be having more percentage of more revoked percentage, or in June, you might be having less. That's one thing you can do. And then you can also extend this schema to have maybe revoke reason. So maybe you can track the percentage by reason. Maybe it's the user that's doing, maybe it's the person who posted, or it's the job board that's doing the work. So we would know where's the majority coming from or the minority. And coming to Windows function, here rank works and row number works, but you mentioned that dense rank works. And row number works here because it assigns unique number to each partition. So you can use rank number, row number here. So if it would be great if you could learn the difference between each of the functions in depth and then understand when to use which one. I think you answered it correctly for how would your query handle if there are no job postings. That's a good answer. Like the denominator would be zero. So you need to make sure that you put a default value if it's zero. And optimizing into the optimization of your query, you did mention that you would only select few columns. That's good. And also, since you're using job ID and date posted, if you could index them, you have larger data. Indexing would be very helpful when you have larger data to optimize your query. So it runs faster. Index on date posted or job ID, because those are the main columns that you're using right now. And the next question was how could a high percentage of job postings impact the revenue? So it could impact revenue in multiple ways, maybe based on trust and retention rates. Maybe a company, the employer might not come again if there's more retention. So, and they might lose advertising revenue also because it's not trustworthy anymore if the word gets out. And then it can also get into the brand reputation, because brand reputation matters. And thinking of other metrics, so yeah, you did try to go deeper into a revoked percentage, whereas you can also track other metrics. As I mentioned before, you can track the rate of new job postings or ratio of active to revoked ones or active to filled ones, and different kind of metrics, or like the average time that the job posting was active based on the employer or location or anything again. Yeah, that's my feedback. And also when you were asked to summarize everything, start with the question first. So start with the question, mention this is what was expected, and this is where I've started, and this is where I've ended, and this is the output, and this is how I interpret it, and this is how the business can make decisions. So like make sure that there's flow from start to end. You started explaining with the query first directly. So mention what was expected from you and then what you have delivered at the end.
Got it.
Yeah, that's my feedback. You did really good. Like make sure that just the readability part, the syntax part, and work on conveying the answers in a structured manner. And then yeah, those are some pointers that I have. Do you have any feedback for me?
Yeah, like you really helped me whenever I was struggling. You gave me hints. Like you did not give me the direct answer for it, but you have given me hints. So that was good. And also you've asked me questions which I did not have, or when I was just saw the question, like how this question can be extended to a business use case or business problem. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no problem. Because like even during the interview, if we are struck, we can always ask the interviewer to help out. I mean, not to ask the answer, but then a small hint. We can ask if the direction that we are moving is all correct or wrong. So most interviewers are more than happy to help us because they want us to get hired. So it's okay to ask questions and get the things clarified before getting the wrong output, or like if we were moving in the wrong direction, we are wasting our time and their time. So it's always good to get clarified. And then coming to the business part, yeah, it's always about how can you use the output to make business decisions and then increase the revenue of the company. So it's our job doesn't end when we get the correct output, but that's where it starts. So you use that output to make business decisions and then increase the revenue or reduce loss or optimize something, optimize the flow of the project or something. So it never ends at getting the correct output or wrong output. So that's where it starts, using that output to make sense out of it. That's what sets us apart from the competition. Someone might just stop at getting the correct output and then they might be thinking that it's done. But then when you go an extra mile and then say, this is how I would use this output to make business decisions. And if I had this extra data, I would use these metrics to get these insights to improve this in our process. That's what will set us apart from the crowd. And to the viewers, yeah, just make sure that you're also preparing for the business acumen questions. So it's not about just the technical aspect, but also business knowledge is important, how you would use the query. And if you want to solve more questions like this, feel free to check the interview query platform. There are a lot of questions like this based on Python, SQL, product sense, data science, and then there's a lot more in the platform. So feel free to check the platform.